Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to live right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Also on the iTunes, on Podbean, on Stitcher Radio, on iHeartRadio, SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Steve and Larson. And where else?
You say Google Play?
Google Play. Also on Google Play. My goodness gracious, our audio version of this podcast is blowing up. I want to say thanks to everybody for hitting that download and subscribe button. You have no idea how much that helps us, how much like that boosts us in the rankings. My God, in Australia, we were something like number 26 in the sports and recreation category on iTunes. Here in the States, we hover between, we cracked the top 50 last week. We're at like number 48. And then like when our podcasts aren't sort of active, like during the rest of the week, we're at like number 100 and so. But we haven't fallen out of the top 150 in a little while, and that's fantastic to me. And we want to say thanks to everybody for doing that.
Yes, thank you.
We're also available on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. We've got 17 people watching right now. And that's you can do that every week at the $5 Patreon level. So you guys can kick in and watch us and interact with us. We do a bonus show every week for the $5 patrons, once a month for the $1 patrons. $10 patrons get this fancy little postcard right here. $50 patrons get a friggin' t-shirt. And then we got the Friendo Care Package. Larson, I'm inching my way closer and closer to getting that goddamn comic book done for the $20 patrons. With the whole thing, you know, with the care package. Larson, it's glorious. I feel glorious right now because I decided Bobby Roode has transformed me.
You've come up a bit short in terms of achieving full glory, though.
See, I'm not going to let comments like that bring me down.
You got a shirt that's wrinkled. You got some lint or something on the back. Dog hair. Mm-hmm. This tie.
Dog Ziggler.
Looks wrinkled, too.
Yeah.
You're wearing basketball shorts,
yeah,
which no one can see, but I can.
No one can see, so I don't know why you're not protecting the business.
If you want to be,
you're like one of them damn cranes on SmackDown you hate so much. You're exposing the business.
Sometimes business needs to be exposed. Also, if you're going to be,
I don't know why there's so much. Is it because I didn't send you the memo that I'm wearing a tie today? Is that why?
No, I don't care.
I like your wrinkled New Day shirt. It's great.
It's a good shirt.
Talking about wrinkled. Listen up. You know what's
t-shirt.
glorious?
It's okay for it to be wrinkled. No, if you want to be glorious, you need to be wearing a blazer or a sports coat.
No,
that's the minimum.
This is me being glorious. So we get, what's glorious is people giving us money on the Patreon.
That is
Patreon.com/Steve
That I will
Larson.
agree with you with.
Terry Ansel, Jennifer Golston, Lone Star, David Gilmore, apparently from Pink Floyd, Vishnu Mambakam. I'm sorry if I messed up that name. Milk Lizard. Colton Kramer, this is like a kayfabe corner. Colton Kramer and Glendolyn all put in money on the Patreon.
Thank you very much.
I want to say thank you very much. That's awesome of you. And you guys are all glorious. Just amazing. I feel like $1 million. I don't care what you say. I have been transformed by Bobby Roode's theme song.
You're going to make it about 15 to 20 minutes before you start taking that stuff off.
Well, before I start sweating profusely at the very least. My goodness gracious. Oh, goodness. I suppose we should start into the show. We should get into the show.
Raw!
Raw! You have no idea how fun it is. Would you try that? It's so fun to do.
That's your thing.
Raw!
I'm not going to do it. Raw cap.
You want to do that? Okay.
No.
You need to be looking there, by the way, not there.
I did. I said raw cap into camera. And then I looked at myself and I looked at you on the monitor here.
I'm just mad that you didn't get the memo.
No,
on the
I don't
top.
care. I'd much rather be comfortable.
I'd rather much be glorious. Which is how I feel, regardless of all the hate that you're spitting over here. I feel glorious.
You at least could have put your shirt through the dryer for a few minutes.
It looks fine. Nobody can tell. I'm gonna crush the darks.
Okay.
When I do the pod. Okay. You don't do the pod. I do the podcast.
Okay.
You stick with recap.
I'll help you out here. I get that lint off your shirt.
Thank you. See, this is a tag team right now. It's just a tag team.
And speaking of tag teams, looks like we have a new one.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, because Enzo and Cass came out to kick off the show. Came out to kick off the show.
What do they call it? Y2KO? Was that what we were talking about?
Jericho.
Jericho. That makes more sense. Yeah, so Enzo came down and he started talking about how he was gonna hook up with Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks got married over the weekend.
Yes.
And she looked beautiful.
Yes.
And she looks very happy. So I have a feeling that Sasha Banks is kind of a nerd. And I like that about her. She seems like kind of a nerd, and I like that. She's very low-key about her wedding ceremony.
Yes.
She's very determined not to do the whole go down the total divas route, and I love that about her. So she got married. I was really hoping, I know she wanted to keep it private and everything. I was really hoping that Enzo would come down and say, I was spitting game at Sasha Banks, but she got married. I was hoping that he would go like that route. But he didn't. He was just he was like, yeah, I was this close to banging her or some crap like that.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward.
A little awkward. But they were still funny. They were still good. Him and Cass are a lot of fun. Out comes Chris Jericho because Enzo was running him down a little bit. Jericho comes down, and he runs down Enzo and Cass a little bit. He says, I got somebody who's got my back. Kevin Owens comes down. Then they both go down the ramp.
Yeah.
And get in the ring.
A lot of great banter back and forth. A lot of great banter.
You know, it's funny, man. Like, I watched the Hulu version of Raw last night because I was off in the woods at a resort camping. It was camping. I was at a cabin.
Okay.
There was a bunch of cabins and like a little pool and shit.
Resort camping sounds like an oxymoron.
Well, it's not. If you knew anything about anything, if you were glorious, you would know it's not. It has all the superficial elements of camping.
So it's not real. It's camping in theory, but not really.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We're not rough.
There's trees.
Well, our little cabin had like a refrigerator and a TV and like a DVD player.
That's not camping.
So anyways, Enzo and Cass, they're in there with Jericho and Kevin Owens. And yeah, a lot of great banter. A lot of people, my point was, a lot of people on Twitter running it down. There's like, we saw this last week. Maybe I'm just a simpleton, which is very possible. I'm a glorious simpleton.
Could be.
I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was fine. I thought what they were doing was fine.
Put the four of those guys in the ring with microphones and
I can watch a feature length. I can watch feature length. I want to see a ride-along with all four of those guys in character.
Yeah. And it'll be fun.
So anyways, they were going out. I like Jericho's point of saying, Cass, I used to like you because you had a best friend.
No, that was Kevin Owens' point.
What did I say?
You said Jericho.
Oh, sorry. Kevin Owens' point, saying, Cass, I liked you back in NXT. I figured you'd go to Raw and you'd shed the dead weight of a best friend like I did, but instead, you didn't. You brought him along with you, and now I have to look at him and listen to him every single Monday. I thought that was really great.
Yeah.
Anyways,
this led to a match between Jericho and Enzo.
Mm-hmm. But before that, they challenged Jericho and... it was afterwards. Yeah, after that. So anyways, Jericho goes over Enzo afterwards.
Cass afterwards challenges
them for SummerSlam.
Jericho to a match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Which has been confirmed.
Yeah. So that's good. That'll be a fun one. That'll be... We'll do this in our predictions, I guess, next week?
Yeah.
Or later this week? No, next week. Next week we'll do our predictions. But... this is one of those matches that it's going to matter. Oh, well, they're in their backyard. There's no way Enzo and Cass are losing that match. Never mind. Okay, I'll shut up.
And I think this is going to lead to a feud between Kevin Owens and Jericho too.
Yeah, that would make sense, huh? That's going to be really good.
Yeah,
that's going to be really good. Here's my main criticism of Raw before we keep on going with this. There's no Sami Zayn. Yeah, that's a big no-no, especially when SmackDown has it was a dearth when you're lacking. Is it a dearth?
Correct. I believe so, yeah.
SmackDown has a dearth of talent. And Sami Zayn can't make a 3-hour Raw. You have the Dudleys and Neville and Sin Cara, and Sami Zayn can't make Raw? What? Sami Zayn doesn't have a feud going into SummerSlam? And he can't make Raw?
I know.
SmackDown has 0 talent on their roster, and he can't make Raw? Like, this is stupid. No Sami Zayn. This guy's going to be huge. He's going to be the face that runs the place in about 3 years. Why is he not on Raw?
Maybe he had something else he had to do.
Oh, that'd be fine. That would be totally fine if he had like prior obligations. But it's Monday Night Raw. You got to be on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, you'd think so.
You can miss a house show. Can't miss Raw. So yeah, that was. I don't know what the deal with that was. That was annoying though. Anyways, Mick Foley was backstage.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked he had his clipboard. I like that he's all in on the clipboard. And he was
but later on, he was on the iPad.
Right, but he was telling Stephanie, yeah, the iPad's great. The tablet's great. Yeah. But it was a good little moment there.
But Sasha Banks comes backstage, and it was kind of a confusing thing she was proposing.
Okay, here's the thing. They should never do this thing where... It's kind of like the Dolph thing, which made a modicum of sense. Dolph is so confident in his abilities, and he feels he's been written off so much.
But also, he wants to prove that he's worth
the
his
funny
shot.
thing about Dolph, though, is that if you look at his recent track record, he shouldn't be that confident in his abilities because he loses a lot.
He wanted to prove to the world, but also to himself, that he was worthy of that main event spot at SummerSlam.
So that made a modicum of sense.
No, it made total sense.
Why you'd be putting your number one contendership up on the line
Yeah.
when you already have it in the bag.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks comes up and says, I want to make sure Dana Brooke, I can keep my eyes on her, so I want it to be a handicap match.
At SummerSlam.
Now, there are any other number of ways where you could keep an eye on somebody and not have them fighting you along with somebody else who is just the women's champion, because Charlotte is a formidable opponent.
Yeah, I don't know. Whoever wrote that, no.
That didn't make a lick of fucking sense.
No.
Creative.
No.
It's so annoying. That's why people bitch about creative, because giant gaps in logic like that don't make a lick of sense. So anyway, she says, I want a handicap match. And Foley says, okay, I guess I admire your moxie, but I've been saying moxie a lot lately. But here's what we'll do. We'll set up a match tonight on Raw, Sasha Banks versus Dana Brooke. If Dana Brooke wins, then she'll be a part of the handicap match. If she loses, she'll be banned from ringside. I guess with a heel authority figure, I mean, I get that they were trying to. There was a million other ways they could have written that scenario out.
They could have just had Sasha come in and say, I don't want Dana at ringside for SummerSlam. If I beat her tonight, can you make that happen?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I've got a proposition for you. I'm willing to fight for this stipulation.
Or Mick, can we have a steel cage around the ring to keep Dana Brooke out during my match with Charlotte?
Yeah, okay, both those scenarios. I can understand maybe creative would think, well, that would make Sasha look weak. Like, oh, she needs... I mean, I think I understand like what they're going for.
Yeah, I think so. It doesn't make any sense.
It's still a huge leap in logic.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like if it's kind of like back when Triple H, whenever the authority figure offers up the world to somebody on a platter, like Triple H did with Roman Reigns, and he says no simply for like pride or whatever.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense, because in the real world, if my boss comes to me and says, "Hey, I'm going to give you the world on a platter. You want a promotion?" I'm not going to say, "No, I want to." Not do that. Doesn't make any sense. Take the promotion. Why wouldn't you? Anyways, so Sasha ended up fighting Dana Brooke later on in the show.
Beat her
in 2 minutes. And you made this point on the Machinima Recap show, which, by the way, we're going to be we talk extensively about Ryback, so we really encourage you guys to check it out later on tonight. All our thoughts on Ryback are exclusively on the Machinima Recap show.
We won't talk about it here at all.
At all. Stupid. He was in a car. He was in a car in the future endeavor.
We're saving for the Machinima show.
I'm sorry.
Continue your point.
Great. It was fucking great.
Continue your point.
Okay, anyways. So Dana Brooke did this spot. There was a spot where...
Yeah, where Dana had Sasha in like a headlock against the ropes or something. And I believe how it was supposed to work out was right as Sasha was removing her head from the headlock, Charlotte was supposed to slap. And so the slap would connect with Dana just as Sasha moves out of the way. Yeah. Well, instead, the timing was off, so Sasha was out of the headlock and already on the mat by the time Charlotte even started her motion. So it just looked like she slapped Dana Brooke for no reason. And then Charlotte acts surprised that she slapped Dana Brooke. So just mistiming.
Dana Brooke needed a lot more time in NXT.
Yes.
Because it's things like this that you need a command. You need a command of the stage in order to pull off coordinated moves like this. She's done this before, whether it was that time where she had to put Charlotte's
foot on the rope,
and she completely botched it, and so it made the move completely make no sense.
Yeah.
The sequence make no sense. Or stuff like this. This is what developmental is for. So when you come out there, you have command of the ring.
And that's another instance where people that have been wrestling in the indies for years, they have that stuff.
Right, exactly.
Down.
Exactly.
And then her, who comes from the fitness and bodybuilding background, she doesn't, the little details, I think she's still learning.
Certain people own the ring, and this is sort of the difference that you'd find between Finn Balor and Roman Reigns during his really awkward championship push. Is Finn Balor steps into the ring and he commands the space. He's used to working in front of massive crowds in Japan.
Yeah.
And he commands the space he's in. He just looks and feels like $1 million when he's in there because he knows he owns the place. because he's owned it for 10, 15 years. Roman Reigns steps in there and he hasn't owned anything in his life, and it comes off. Now, last night with the pressure off, we'll get to this later, with the pressure off, Roman Reigns was amazing.
Yeah, he was really good.
Fantastic, and I loved his bit with Rusev. But going back to Dana Brooke, this is the problem when you don't have a lot of time in developmental or time in the indies, like you said, is that you step in there, and when you have to do these coordinated moves that timing really matters, it comes off as really awkward. So the bottom line is Sasha Banks beat her in about 3 minutes. And so Dana Brooke will now be banned from ringside at SummerSlam.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
After this, we had Braun!
Against, I like earlier you said, it was actually, I think it was spelled Jor-El, like the Superman guy, Superman's dad, Jorel.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, was it on WWE.com?
Yeah.
It was this or Jor-El?
No, it was Jor-El, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Anyways, he's the latest jobber to be terrorized by Braun Strowman.
Correct.
And before the match, of course, once again, this time was, I think, backstage.
It was, and I couldn't tell if it was Jor-El or Jur-El.
Okay. Byron Saxton interviewed him and said, what would ever compel you to do this? And he did not have an answer. He literally said nothing. He just looked very distraught.
Yes.
Jor-El Nelson, he's going to be a big star one day. Watch like 10 years from now. Like, we're like, oh, he's the guy that jobbed to Braun Strowman. Anyways, he gets in the ring with Braun Strowman and just gets annihilated again.
Yeah.
So this will eventually... Braun's got to have... Do you think that Braun is going to be sort of... is he going to fight a glorified jobber at SummerSlam, you think? Or maybe next week, are they going to set something up with him? And what about Sami Zayn?
No, I think it's going to be a while before he fights some established WWE competition.
Do you think he's going to be at SummerSlam at all? It's got to be, right?
Maybe in the pre-show.
Well, no, I think this could be... This is the perfect cooler match.
How about this?
Between two championship matches.
What if they...
a moment of levity.
Don't necessarily use a local New York area jobber, but someone that has a little bit of credibility in terms of the larger wrestling world. Like someone from New York that's pretty well known, relatively, it hasn't been around for a while, have him come out to face Braun and still get squashed.
What about like a Tommy Dreamer guy?
That's exactly who I was thinking of.
Okay. That's something Tommy would do too. I love Tommy Dreamer. He's so great. By the way, speaking of Tommy Dreamer, I mentioned this to you off camera.
Yeah.
Everybody should check out Colt Cabana's latest Art of Wrestling podcast where he talks to Terry Funk. It's amazing. It's fantastic because there's so much history there.
Yeah.
And number one, Colt Cabana is one of the few guys, and I haven't listened to a lot of his stuff, but after listening to this, I want to go back and listen to more. He's one of the few guys who I can listen to him talk for the, so many podcasts. This is the thing that I want to keep going with Going in Raw is that, we've one thing about Going in Raw that we really want to try to do, the more popularity it gets, we're going to get opportunities for sponsorships. But whatever sponsorships we may take on in the future, we want to make sure that it's something that that we guarantee you guys could be interested in.
Yeah.
We're not going to just take on, because we've done our fair share of sponsorships on other programs before where it's like, okay, who we got this week? Okay. And it's stuff that it's like, okay, well, it is what it is. Whenever we do a sponsorship, I want it to be something that we're excited that we can bring them. And I mean, nothing's on the horizon. We're not talking about anything specifically.
Yeah.
But with so many podcasts these days, they open up talking about some product. And then they go into like a 10-minute rant about something.
Yeah.
And then this is the format for a lot of podcasts out there, especially the wrestling ones.
Yeah.
Stone Cold does the same thing.
Yes.
And then they give us another product.
Yeah.
And then eventually they get into the interview. So you can usually fast forward to about 12 minutes in until you get to the interview.
Yes.
I like Going in Raw because we try to fit our plugs for our social media, for all that stuff. We try to get all that in and our Patreon thanks within the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minutes, a little bit of banter if it naturally sort of comes up. Like I'm talking about my tie today and Bobby Roode. And then we try to get to the Raw bit, to the recap.
Yeah,
we try to get to that.
Try to get into it as quickly as we can.
As quick as we can. My long-winded point is Colt Cabana is one of the few guys I don't mind listening to his rants.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would definitely check it out. Terry Funk mentioned a thing, and some of you guys might know this. I didn't know this before the podcast, but Tommy Dreamer worked for Dory Funk, for Terry's dad, in one of the territories in probably Texas,
in Texas somewhere,
Amarillo. And he wanted to do an angle where he literally shoots a guy in the ass with a gun. And Dory Funk said, "We're not doing that, Tommy." I love that he wanted to do that, though. That's fucking crazy.
That is crazy.
Because how often have I advocated for bringing a gun to the ring?
Fairly often.
I know. I can't do that today in today's climate. Maybe back in the 80s. Anyways.
Maybe.
You have a crowd out there? Tommy, you want to bring a gun out there?
Yeah, that's a terrible idea.
Jeez. All right.
Anyways, Foley backstage again, this time with Tablet, I believe.
Yeah.
And Sean Puffy Combs.
The host.
Yeah, and the executive producer of the soundtrack of WWE 2K17.
That's right. He's curating the soundtrack.
Yes.
Yeah. I love Puffy. I don't like his music at all. The sample heavy stuff. And then like later on when he did the Dirty Diddy Money, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've listened to plenty of it and I'm like,
I like one of their songs.
I don't know. But as an actor and as a personality,
he's great.
I fucking love him. Like if you watch him in, God damn it, what was that? Oh, he was in that movie.
Get him to the Greek.
Get him to the Greek.
Yeah, that part where he's rubbing the walls.
Oh, he is fantastic
so
in that.
Yeah,
He's got such a self-awareness that is so rare these days. He's fantastic. And so when he said, "Hey, he's guest hosting," just generally I'm against guest hosts, but they used him well this time.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So yeah, he had a segment with the New Day as well.
Yeah, they're gonna go call Big E.
That's right.
To check in on him.
That's right. Let's see here. We had Titus O'Neil's heel turn is complete. He's full on heel, and him and Darren Young. Do you think this is actually going to make the main card at SummerSlam? This has to be a pre-show, right? This has to be pre-show.
Probably.
Unless they revisit, unless it's Golden Truth or they revisit. I mean, it's SummerSlam, so they're probably going to have 4 pre-show matches.
Yeah, it'll be a 4-hour show, I'm sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I could see this could be a cooler match also. This could be one in between a main event and another main event.
Yeah, it could be.
This could be between Brock and Orton and then the Universal Championship.
Maybe. Yeah, it could be. Or, I mean, even if they give him 12 minutes on the pre-show, that'd be good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would rather them have like a prominent pre-show slot. The Baron Corbin Dolph Ziggler spot.
Yeah, the main event of the pre-show.
What's Baron Corbin? And we'll talk about that tomorrow, I guess. What's
he's
Baron
on SmackDown.
Corbin going to do for SummerSlam?
Probably nothing.
Really?
He'll interfere.
They're keeping the biggest heel of this generation off of SummerSlam?
He'll run in during the
He doesn't run. What do you mean run in?
Sorry.
He'll saunter. He's the innovator of the saunter in.
He'll mosey out during the Ambrose Dolph match.
Yeah, he's the innovator
to continue
of the mosey
his
in.
feud with Dolph.
Yeah. Let's see here. And then, okay, so definitely the highlight of the night was Seth Rollins' promo. Boy, this guy can talk on the mic better than anybody today. Better than Bray. Better than anybody today. Seth Rollins, because he can get you fired up. Because he goes through... He's such a master these days of the build.
Yeah.
Of the build and then the explosion at the end.
Yeah, you always get the payoff.
You always get the payoff. And people go from hating him because he's a heel, and he's a damn good heel.
Yeah.
And by the end, they're cheering him, mainly because he mentioned Roman Reigns' name. But by the end of his promo, you respect him because he's laid out just how brilliant he is.
Yeah.
Just how, dare I say, glorious he is.
Yes.
It was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm having a heart attack.
Between that and Reigns' segment during Rusev and Lana's wedding celebration, those are the 2 highlights of the show.
Oh, for sure.
But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get to Reigns in a second. Well, let's follow this up by talking about Finn's sort of response. They did a pre-tape thing with Finn Balor that was, I thought, an interesting risk. Because those sort of things sort of outside of the norm, they're always a risk. They're a creative risk. And sometimes they pay off and sometimes they don't. I think this was a mixed. It had pros and cons sort of an equal amount.
I mean, I think his performance was fine.
Mm-hmm. Which, not a lot of people can pull off that performance.
Yeah. No, I think his performance was fine. Just, I'm not a fan of the Demon.
Right.
I don't get...
And at this point, I'm more with you on
I don't
that
get
one
swept up in the spectacle of it.
Yeah.
I don't think... beyond the showmanship aspect of it, there's no reason to have it because it doesn't affect how he wrestles. It doesn't affect the physicality of his matches whatsoever. Doesn't change his moveset at all. Mm-hmm. He's just the same guy in body paint, it seems like.
I've made this point to you before.
As a psychological thing, yeah.
As a psychological thing against his opponent, I understand it.
But there's a huge suspension of disbelief, even for that. Especially when he's done it so many times. But to actually, and this is a question we have later on, in terms of kayfabe, is that really believable anymore, those kind of supernatural or supernaturally inspired characters? Because I told you earlier, at least The Undertaker was a large guy. He was intimidating. He was imposing, you know, and from all we've heard, in the ring, out of the ring, whenever he was in public, he was The Undertaker. He wasn't Mark Calloway. He lived that gimmick up until, I guess, he was American Badass. Whereas Finn is just, like, if Finn has access to these powers, why doesn't he use them all the time? He'd never lose.
Yeah.
Why does he only save them for special events?
Maybe like he only has a limited number of times in his life he can use them.
Like, if he exploits these powers too much, does it corrupt him?
No, I think if he uses them too much, so I take the perspective of his opponent. If he uses them too much, then the drama dies down. I'll put it this way. You talk about the suspension of disbelief in kayfabe. From his opponent's point of view, one of the, I'm not going to say advantages, when Finn comes out with this Fonzie jacket, you're on a relatively level playing field.
Okay.
When somebody out-spectacles you, that adds pressure to you as a performer. And I'm talking about within the universe context of the storyline. You're out there and regular dude Finn comes out. It's like, okay, this is a guy. When he comes out in all his makeup and it makes the crowd around you, it elevates the drama with them. Then there's more pressure on you because they feel that something big is coming your way. And you can, you know, from your point of view, you can say, well, I don't really agree with that. That's fine. To me, that's a valid reason to bring out the demon on special occasions, because it's like, that's just an added home court advantage that you might then experience because you have the crowd with you, because they don't get to see it very often. They think that it's a big deal.
I understand that.
I like your point about, I wish that he would bust out a new move or something, or change his game up.
The demon persona should alter his, not just his appearance, but his character. And from that should be a different approach to his matches.
Did you see the 2K17 entrance that they gave Finn with the chainsaw? To me, if I saw a guy branding a chainsaw to the ring, I would be freaked out.
But again, this is
even knowing that he couldn't use it on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I could see. I mean, I get it. You know, wrestling is part spectacle. And if spectacle is one of the power rankings that you have at your disposal, then use it.
No, I understand.
You know, on occasion. This is for the Universal title, of course, he's going to buzz it. But our friendo Stephen Fenris did make a good point in that now that we know the demon's going to be revealed, there's no way they're going to job the Demon King out at SummerSlam in his debut pay-per-view match.
At least not clean.
Therefore, and not even. There's not even a... It's 90-10 at this point. Seth Rollins is going to make Finn Balor look like $1 million more bucks. And Finn Balor is going to come out looking amazing with that jacket and the title. He's going to look great. And then we won't see... I just hope that we don't see the Demon King until maybe there's going to be like a Demon King streak of some sort.
Okay.
And we don't see him again until Mania.
That could be.
Not the Rumble, nothing. Just, you know, Demon King, Hell in a Cell, Mania.
At Rumble.
I
just don't... If they're going to employ...
They need to bring him back at a Roadblock.
If they're going to employ the Demon King,
no
they
mercy.
need to save it. Yeah, that'd be... Well, no, it's a SmackDown show.
They
need to employ it just for the major 4 pay-per-views. If it's every month, it's going to get tired real quick.
Well, even I would prefer it this way. Big 4, okay. Most desperate of situations, when it's needed.
Okay.
The most necessary of situations. This is a new title. This is a universal title.
Let's go back. Why didn't you just use it all the time then?
Because all the time it gets old. Because all the time it doesn't. It loses its effect. It doesn't heighten the drama.
I'm not
Were you listening
to
that one word I just said?
I'm not arguing with that point about the spectacle and how it adds to the drama. But I mean, if he is actually granted additional powers.
Well, the additional powers are simply the pyro guy. It's just the lighting guy.
It's the lighting guy, the red lights.
The makeup girl. Yeah, exactly. I'm not assuming that just because she does makeup, it's got to be a girl. It might be makeup guy. I don't know. I think one of the costume guys is the dude that Sasha married. I think that's what I heard. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, anyways. Orton Lesnar. Oh, my God.
No, he skipped over Cesaro and Sheamus. They had to have a match again because Foley wasn't happy with Cesaro's win last week, so they had to have a rematch.
Has Foley not watched tape on Cesaro? How much, can't Cesaro... What if Foley just said this? Cesaro put together a highlight reel. Sheamus put together a highlight reel. Let me take a look at both of them. And I think you can make the case at that point that Cesaro is far more worthy of a U.S. title shot than Sheamus.
Correct.
Yeah.
Moving on,
thank you.
there was a Orton-Lesnar video promo that had some funny quotes from Brock Lesnar. It's obvious that he gives 0 Fs.
After watching the Dean Ambrose Stone Cold podcast last night, I am so completely over Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. I was over him during this last WrestleMania after the garbage match he had with Dean Ambrose.
And we got the reasons as to why.
And I think we both kind of thought that might have been the case, where Dean probably wanted to do more and Brock probably just didn't.
I am so done. Look, here's the thing about wrestling. Brock Lesnar is he's a fucking bear. Okay,
Yeah.
We know that he can probably murder anybody he wants to at any time.
Yeah.
I don't care about that when it comes to wrestling.
I don't either.
I don't care about that because big deal. So go to MMA and juice up and then beat Mark Hunt. Okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to wrestling, I know that we're getting a fictional story between two characters, and it's not always like whoever is biggest and best will always win, because therein lies the drama and tension.
There's storytelling opportunities there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you eliminate the storytelling opportunities, when you eliminate the desire and ability to tell a story in the ring, which evidently Brock Lesnar has done, then fuck you, go away. I don't give a shit about you anymore. And the fact that Dean Ambrose was totally willing and totally cool with when Stone Cold said, this was to me the highlight of the podcast and the most telling thing about the podcast, because I actually really like, a lot of people are like, man, Dean seemed high. I think that's just Dean, and that's the thing that I love now about Dean Ambrose. Like, that podcast completely exposed him in a new way. I'm like, this dude is like the realest guy there is now to me.
Yeah.
When Stone Cold said, was it a clash of styles? Because Dean Ambrose said, I was pulling my teeth in the lead up. And you can tell he was doing all the stuff where he was like, come on, Brock, beat me. And Brock just snoozes his way through the program.
I know.
And he says, I was pulling teeth trying to make this an epic encounter, and I had this great plan in my head, and I go out there after not receiving any sort of back and forth input. Okay, we'll just figure it out there. And what happened was Brock was Brock, and Austin said, was it a clash of styles artistically? And I love that Austin used that word artistically, because Austin understands the art of wrestling.
Yes.
And Dean Ambrose said, Brock doesn't do artistically. He does Brock. He snoozes his way through a bunch of suplex. He laughs. He no-sells. And then usually Brock will win. And that's what he said. When we went out there, we hit each other with a bunch of instruments, and then he won. If you're not going to participate in the creative process of wrestling, then get the fuck out of the business. Take your money and your land and go away. Go juice up and go fight Mark Hunt again. Because I don't want to fucking see you in this show anymore. Because to me, you're exposing the business. You're just like, oh, I'm just going to go out there and snooze through it because I'm a big guy and I can. And I don't even have to fucking talk anymore because Paul Heyman's next to me. So not only am I not doing the shit that was very entertaining back in the day with Eddie Guerrero, when he was in there dancing around with the mariachi band, when he was doing skits with Kurt Angle, not only am I not going to be entertaining, and we get to have a Paul Heyman promo over and over again saying the exact same fucking thing every time. Not only am I not going to do that, I'm not even going to participate in making the fucking match interesting. Why am I fucking watching you? I know you can beat up anybody. You're fucking Brock Lesnar and you're a bully, and Brock does what you want to do.
Yeah.
You juice up on horse steroids and you come to the ring and you lay on people. Fucking why do I care anymore? So I want Orton to win and I want Brock to go away. And then at fucking WrestleMania, when Brock Lesnar comes out, I'm going to go to the bathroom in the merch table.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to fucking do.
Okay.
What happened then?
The Dudley Boys had a match with Neville and Sin Cara.
Oh, what happened after that?
The wedding celebration.
Why are the Dudley Boys on there fighting Neville and Sin Cara? Look, I love Neville. There's one name in here that I love, and that's Neville. Neville and Sami Zayn should be having a feud right now because they're both the best workers in the business.
That'd be great.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
After that,
we
had Rusev and Lana's wedding celebration.
You're right. You're absolutely right about this. This was actually the highlight. Seth's promo was great. This was because this was the Roman Reigns
that we've been waiting for.
This is the
ever
Roman
since
Reigns
the Shield
that we've been
broke up.
waiting for. We want to see this shit.
He was comfortable. He was loose. He was confident. He was being himself, it seemed.
Yeah.
And he comes out and he tells Rusev to put that beef away when he's unbuttoning his vest.
Put that beef away.
That was so good.
This was the Roman Reigns that's, hey, but it was cool. Like, it worked. There's no pressure on Roman Reigns. Yep. There's no pressure on him, so he can command the ring. He can
go out there, be himself,
the arena.
Have fun.
Exactly. It was so much fun. And it was such a Three Stooges setup because they had the cake ready to go.
For someone to get planted in.
And they had red fruit filling in it. And so anyways, Roman Reigns, so the whole setup is, Lana comes down, she starts talking about how she's Rusev's princess.
Let me ask you this. When Rusev and Lana debuted, I thought Lana, when she did her mic work, was good. But every time they've given her more than like 3 minutes, it just seems long-winded.
Yeah, I know it does. I know it totally does. And she starts wavering on her accent and stuff. The best bits about this was Rusev cutting off, saying, "Don't disrespect my wife." Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great. Roman Reigns comes down, points out, he says, "Hey, I watched your wedding video. I noticed you didn't have a best man, so I'd like to take on that role."
Great.
He says, "I want to do a toast. I don't want your toast." He's like, "Just relax. Come on, I'm gonna give you a toast." Gets out the champagne. He starts just puts it on stuff. Lana's like, "That's mine. You're ruining it.
So
Get
that's
away.
not your
Go
champagne."
Away.
And the whole time Reigns is like,
he's like, "Oh, we're gonna have a drink. Let's relax." He's very relaxed, Roman Reigns. Tries to give it to Rusev.
Relaxed Roman.
Yeah, relaxed Roman. He tries to give it to Rusev. Rusev no-sells it. Reigns says, "Whatever," just downs it, grabs another one. So I like to propose a toast. Rusev punches him in the gut. They start going at it. Roman
him buttons his chest Rockwell vest.
Wearing just a dress vest.
I know, and I won't get the exact quote right. And Reigns says, "Oh, you're unbuttoning your deal there."
Your deal there.
Put your beef away.
Put your beef away. That's a new phrase now. Well, I'm going to use that.
Oh, it was so good.
The beef. This is the beef now.
That was so good.
It was so good. So they go at it. Reigns pushes Rusev, who ends up falling into Lana a little bit.
Who falls into the cake.
Who falls in the cake. She comes up with this cake was so amazing. It made her look like a David Cronenberg movie. She looked like the Brundlefly. So she comes up and she just covers it. She's doing it.
Kind of, because there's hunks of cake falling off her face.
Exactly, yeah. So she's melting away and she starts screaming her head off. Roman Reigns gives the old thumbs up. And he goes, "Oh, me? Who, me?" He gets out of the ring and he's just having a good time. There's no pressure on him to be
the guy.
There isn't like 3 producers saying, "Go out there and do this. Go out and memorize these lines. Do this, do this." It's like they just, "Roman, go out there and have fun with this thing." I would love, God damn it, dude. And I know it would expose Rusev. I would love for Rusev to be a fly on the wall with Rusev and Reigns backstage talking about what they're going to do, because this was executed perfectly.
Yes, it was.
Oh, God. So anyways, Reigns leaves and, what did I do? Because he just made a mess. So it was fantastic. Yeah, it was definitely the highlight of the night. And all you people out there saying, "Why do you guys hate on Roman Reigns?" Look, we like the character when he's written right, when he is smooth, when he's confident, when he's flowing right, when he's
comfortable, when he's loose,
doing something right. We will be effusive about the guy. We will heap praise on Roman Reigns.
I think we've been pretty clear about this. We don't dislike Roman Reigns. We
Exactly.
dislike how creative has treated him.
I've loved him ever since I got a selfie with him at that house show when I was trying to boo him.
And that's not entirely true.
No, I know. I've wanted to love him.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. I want to love everybody in the WWE because it means that creative is doing a really good job with them, and it means they're doing their job, and it means they're comfortable in their surroundings.
And it means there's interesting, compelling, fun characters to watch.
Absolutely.
The next thing we haven't covered, the club did this promo. You missed it.
I missed it. I watched the Hulu version.
They were obviously in front of a green screen.
I'm going to check it out on the YouTube.
And there was like a medical office backdrop, and they were in doctors' lab coats.
Yeah.
And they were talking about ring post-itis.
Yeah.
Which is obviously when they, jammed Big E's dick and balls into the ring post.
Right, exactly.
And they showed clips of that over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And so they were talking about the various symptoms of ring post-itis.
Can I just say, I love Anderson and Gallows.
And they were straight-faced. They sold it
That's so
straight
great.
face the entire time.
Because I was about to say Carl Anderson is so great, and he is, but then I think about Luke Gallows, and he's so great. I'm thinking a ride along, he was doing weird impressions. They talk about command of a situation.
Yeah.
Again, these guys have been on the scene forever. Gallows has been through WWE.
Yeah.
Anderson's worked in Japan. They're used to doing this in front of huge audiences, so they know how to do this. That's the problem with bringing in these prospects from the NFL or the MMA or whatever, is that they're not going to have all that time commanding the ring. That's the problem with bringing up Dana Brooke before she's ready. She has a hard time commanding the ring. These guys know how to do it.
Yeah. And then that led to a match between Kofi and Luke Gallows. Gallows went over. They tried to give Kofi the ring post-itis treatment, and then Xavier Woods came out with a chair, excuse me, and saved Kofi.
Do we know Big E is legit injured? Not from the ring post-itis, but I think he's got a legit injury.
Oh, that could be.
I'm pretty sure that's why he's out. You burp, I burp. I'm really looking forward to this match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
I like the more and more I've seen him in the ring, the more and more I'm like, man, for a lot of their run, they kind of wasted him. I love that he was sort of the hype man, out there with Francesca, and he did really well at that.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I think especially since the Bray stuff, they've really sort of turned a corner on giving the New Day a lot of really good beefy feuds.
Yeah.
Like the Wyatt family was a really good one. It was shorter lived than we wanted to because of the brand split. That was shorter lived than I wanted to. But then the stuff with the club has been really good.
Yeah.
It's just been really solid storytelling.
Yeah, definitely. We had a segment with the Golden Truth and Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Machine. I'm sure they cut that out of the Hulu version, right?
Yes, they did. Yeah. There's too much. I mean, there's so much good stuff for a 90-minute version. They really need. Honestly, I don't know why Hulu doesn't expand it to 3 hours. I don't know why they don't give it 3 hours.
Or at least 2.
I'm sure there's got to be some sort of legal reasons, but I don't know why. I don't know why. They have the entire SmackDown.
Yeah, that's strange.
It is. Like, why are they giving SmackDown all 2 hours, but Raw gets 90 minutes?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It's weird.
And to close the show, Mick Foley invited Daniel Bryan to Raw to discuss this kind of these continual invasions from Lesnar and Orton onto the other show's turf.
Yeah.
And at first it seemed pretty congenial, seemed to be getting along. And then Foley had a beef with Daniel Bryan about how he was talking about the Universal title.
Yeah.
Which led to Rusev coming out and saying, we don't need a Universal Champion. Rusev, I am top champion on Raw. And they came to Foley.
Hugged him up.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Trying to have his match at SummerSlam, which Daniel Bryan pointed out.
Almost gave him a too sweet. No, you're not going to do it?
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
Glorious. Too
Nope.
sweet. All right.
Nope. And then Cesaro comes out. He wants his U.S. title shot.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan says to Rusev, you're being underutilized here.
Yeah. You should have drafted him then, Daniel Bryan.
I know.
Should have drafted him.
I know. So all this
a lot
led...
higher than the other people. You drafted the Big Show at number
I know.
10 or some shit like that.
Way too high. So all this led to the main event of Rusev versus Cesaro for the U.S. title.
Wait a second.
What?
Big Show got drafted to SmackDown, right? Or is that Raw?
I don't remember. He was drafted, though.
He was drafted relatively high.
I think to Raw.
Where's
Hold on
he
a second.
been? Why would you draft a guy if he's not going to be there? At least Lesnar, when they got him, it was like he's going to be there for the short term.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways.
Again, the Raw roster is far too deep.
This was good. I like this for a couple reasons. I like that Rusev, number one, it was a very heavy Rusev episode.
Yes.
And so he comes out, and I like that he was, he said to Daniel Bryan, little man, go back to SmackDown Live. And Daniel Bryan's smile came off his face, and they looked like they were about to throw.
I know.
I like
Big Show was drafted 23rd overall by Raw.
And who was drafted? Dolph was drafted after him. Nia Jax was drafted after him.
Cesaro was drafted after him.
Cesaro, Del Rio, Sheamus even.
Demon Kane, Paige.
Titus O'Neil.
Darren Young.
And all those people are on programming right now except for Paige, which she's either injured or has heat. I don't know which one. So anyways, I like that. I like that Rusev was about... Daniel Bryan was not afraid to throw down Rusev. I like that. I like that he's not...
It's amazing that Daniel Bryan is still the most over guy in the entire company.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he is. Let's see.
It was a good match.
Yeah, and that total. I can't wait for Total Bellas.
Oh, I know.
Can't fucking wait. It's gonna be great.
We should do a recap show every week after.
I know we should.
What's that?
We really should. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Nerd Cubed, for finally completing WWE 2K16. His guy, Scipio Scorpio, I don't fucking know his name. but he's like a Roman general of some sort. He beat Brock Lesnar.
Oh.
So hopefully Brock Lesnar will be gone. Let's see here. And then in the main event, we had Rusev versus Cesaro because Cesaro came out and said, I want my U.S. title shot.
Yeah.
That was ruined by Sheamus.
Yeah, it was.
So
it was a good match,
We're
too.
looking at Cesaro versus Sheamus.
And every especially towards the end, near fall in Cesaro's favor, the crowd was getting pretty into it.
Yeah.
So I think if he would have won last night, the crowd would have popped pretty major.
Well, they're talking about, there's been word on the dirt sheet, according to a Wrestling Observer, that Cesaro is, or was it PW Insider, one of those two fine organizations, that backstage heat on Cesaro for his little shoot at the draft has been turned around. People are pretty high on him backstage, and they want to give him a push of some sort, whether or not that's going to lead to gold or just more prominent, storyline roles. I don't know, but
that'd be good.
Hopefully he's going to get his reward.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Do you have any? I didn't watch the Stone Cold podcast. Or anything else you want to add?
I think I added plenty.
Okay, that's a good point.
We can talk if you watch it tonight. Maybe we can talk about it tomorrow because it's more of a SmackDown thing anyways. But Dean Ambrose, I thought it was really, really good. I think some people were expecting one thing and got another thing. After I sort of watched it after reading about a bunch of the Twitter comments.
Yeah.
And so I think my expectations were like tempered.
Yeah.
Maybe. And because of that, I went into it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Stone Cold wants to get so much out of somebody, and Ambrose had a very, in his own words, a chill vibe.
Yeah.
But towards the end, it was interesting because Stone Cold called Ambrose out because I think he went back and looked at a lot of his Jon Moxley stuff, where he was super intense and super edgy. And Stone Cold towards the end of the podcast called him out and said, "I challenge you to do that." And Ambrose was like, he said basically, I like that you challenged me. He said, but the bottom line is I'm working in somebody else's sandbox.
Yeah.
So he said there's so many times when you want to say, I want to do this, and you just can't.
Yeah.
And I get that, It's like, maybe Stone Cold was saying, now that you got some stroke, now that you're the man,
kick it up a notch.
You can do what you want,
Yeah.
To a degree.
That could be. You want to answer some questions?
Sure.
Timbo Slice.
Timbo.
We talked about this a little bit, Steve, a lot. What do you make of Ambrose saying Brock was lazy?
I had my rant. It makes me not want to see Brock. His match against Orton will probably be my bathroom break.
William Winans, with Balor's small size, how do you guys think it would look with him as champ, especially with the cruiserweights coming?
I think he'll look fine.
Yeah, I think so. And I think since it's not the Universal Heavyweight Champion, it's the Universal Champion.
Yeah,
they're not making a delineation between Universal Champion and Cruiserweight champ
if
based on weight.
I think it'll kind of also matter. Did you see number one? Did you see the leak? The supposed leak?
Oh, yeah.
Possible leak, red belt, blue belt?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It seems kind of easy.
Too easy, I think.
Yeah.
I don't want a blue belt. I want Ambrose. Here's another takeaway I took from the podcast. This is what you do. The Universal Championship, Raw has a lot of talent. So the Universal Championship, you can shift around.
Yeah.
Put it on Rollins because he deserves it. Put it on Zayn because he puts it on Owens because he deserves it.
Yeah.
Even give Cesaro a little run with it.
Yeah.
That heavyweight championship, keep it on Ambrose. And Ambrose will always be that guy who everybody on Raw is like, man, this belt has gone around a little while. Ambrose has always had this thing. He's taken on all comers, and he still has this thing. Keep it on him for 2 years.
Yeah.
You can do that now.
Yeah.
You can do that now because you have another world title, a universal title.
Yeah.
You can keep that belt on somebody for a very long time, and that'll make him as the anchor for SmackDown the man.
He'll elevate
the man.
He'll elevate that belt and thusly elevate that brand.
Look at Samoa Joe. Look at what he's doing with the NXT title.
Yeah. Nabil, after seeing Vin's vignette, do you think WWE is going to reintroduce Lucha Underground-esque kayfabe like The Undertaker? I don't think they'll go to that.
I don't think it'll be to that length. Yeah, like you have Joey Ryan as like an undercover cop or something, And I don't know what is Johnny Mundo. What is he?
He's just like a really in shape, glamorous guy.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to go to those lengths. I mean, Lucha Underground kind of took that from TNA anyways, because they would do. They got closer to doing those sort of video-ish vignettes.
Well, I don't think it necessarily means that, but like Mil Muertes is actually like him and Katarina. Like Katarina has a stone that's supposed to give her control over people and stuff like that.
Yeah, I Lucha Underground does very well with that. That's their thing.
Yeah.
I don't really want to see that in WWE.
I think the rationale behind doing the demon thing is more in line with what you're saying, as opposed to me kind of somewhat tongue-in-cheek saying that Finn Balor, when he wants to, is granted immense supernatural power.
Yeah.
A la The Undertaker back in the
Yeah.
day, you know? I don't necessarily know if you can go that far anymore.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
have
Because
people buy it.
even with The Undertaker is more just a grizzled old bastard who likes to
fight.
Who likes to fight, exactly.
Yeah. James Rodriguez, Demon confirmed for SummerSlam. Are you guys excited, or do you prefer Fonz Balor?
At this point, I love Fonz Balor. With that collar popped, he looks fucking dope.
Just make sure he gets something in the collar
He
so it
needs
stays
the collar
popped
that
up.
pops.
Carter, when do you think Finn Balor become part of the Bullet Club again? I don't see him being part of the Bullet Club as long as they're running with this demon thing.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
like there's a
The
disconnect
fact that
there.
they've excised his
Too sweeting, yeah.
too sweeting.
Not gonna happen.
You're like the Fonz. You're like Finn or I call
Yeah.
him Fonz. Finn's Balor.
Davey Scott, with Shelton Benjamin revealed to be injured. Boo!
Very sad.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Who else would you like to see return that hasn't already? Is there someone comparable or, a larger star?
Well,
that
MVP
could-
is the obvious one because he was sort of hot just after Shelton. He ran with the U.S. title. He had a decent feud with Matt Hardy. Version 1.
Yeah.
Honestly, Shelton's always been at the top of our. The only other name I can think of is Carlito.
Yeah.
But even he wasn't like at the level of Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin was just an athletic freak. And the fact that he was walking around with a busted rotator cuff.
I know.
And he didn't really notice it or he didn't really realize it until WWE did their physical on him.
I know.
That says a lot. I'm open. Look, 4 to 6 months, where are we going to be at? Towards the Rumble?
season.
WrestleMania season?
Yeah. Well, it'd be February. It'd be 6 months.
Okay.
So
February,
lead up to WrestleMania.
Okay. Let's see him at Mania.
That'd be great.
Ain't no stopping me now.
Tyler McMullen. With Bryan saying Cesaro is being underutilized, any chance of him being traded to SmackDown to win the WWE title? There might be some hope of him being traded to SmackDown, but I don't think there's a chance of him winning the WWE title anytime soon.
It would be, it would be interesting if they did a thing like that. I don't want to see them go trade heavy, go trade crazy, trade happy. But now that the drafts are sort of settled in,
Yeah.
it would be kind of cool to see, okay, well, this guy's working here, this guy's not working here. Send Sami Zayn over to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Maybe have Sami interfere in a Kevin Owens match. And then they decide, hey, it's interrupting our programming.
Yeah.
Send him over to SmackDown for somebody else and start evening the rosters out a little bit.
And it'd be great if they worked that all into storylines too.
Yeah, exactly.
The rationale behind it.
Yeah.
Owen Kane. Any chance this Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho tag team holds up, or is it just a one-hit wonder? I think it's going to last till SummerSlam, and then they'll start a feud together.
I think you're right about that. And I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. I don't be surprised if that's kind of Jericho's last feud before this
I
run
saw
ends.
something. I saw something about his contract, him re-upping for like another year. Or something.
Really?
I think he's going to be around a little while.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Demon Spawn. How much do you think WWE will milk Rusev and Lana's wedding?
Wait, what is it? I'm sorry.
How much do you think WWE will milk Rusev and Lana's wedding?
Oh, I think that's it. They're probably they're. What else can they really do with it? I mean, it's going to be on Total Divas, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. James Rodriguez. Better on-screen couple: Rusev and Lana, or Miz and Maurice?
Rusev and Lana for sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Miz and Maurice are good though. They
Yeah.
are good. They are good. She more because of her.
Yeah.
In Rusev's Lana case, it's him.
Yeah.
In Miz Maurice, it's her.
Exactly.
Maurice is she's very charming.
Yeah.
She always has that kind of half smile, like she's having a good time, and
Yeah.
that's always when it's
Yeah.
fun.
Patrick Cheeseman.
Jeez, man.
Why is the club getting pushed over Enzo and Cass? How long till the tag titles are unified again?
Enzo and Kaz have opened up the show 2 weeks in a row.
They have a match at SummerSlam against Chris Jericho, a surefire Hall of Famer, and Kevin Owens.
Yeah. I know what he's saying in terms of the tag titles. He's considering that the push. And the answer is because the crowd is not gonna. You can't tear the crowd up between these two teams.
I know.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
Feuds like that rarely were. Like you've seen it before. They've done babyface before. They don't really work as well as having a good guy and bad guy. They just don't.
By default, the crowd will make one of the teams a heel.
Yeah.
They tried the Rock Cena feud that lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
They tried to do that babyface versus babyface, more or less.
Yeah.
And the crowd said, all right, we're going to cheer the Rock and boo Cena.
I know, and that always annoyed the crap out of me because I always took Cena. So it's like, you know what? Yeah, Cena is here all the time.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, Cena's work ethic does win out over everything in that feud.
Viv, how much do you think Lesnar's victory at UFC 200 and his positive test dictates his match at SummerSlam versus Orton? Not a ton.
The victory at UFC, no. The drug thing, maybe. But in the end, in the final analysis, I think they're going to do what's best for the company. And I still think right now, I know we differ on this. What's your word as of today?
35%.
35% Orton?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 35% Brock.
Okay. Richard Gonzalez. Do you think WWE is trying to turn Lana into the next Miss Elizabeth? If so, do you think it'll work?
I think Lana is far more. I mean, I'll say I loved Elizabeth and everything, but she was never much for charisma on the mic, and I really like Lana on the mic. I mean, like you said, after 3 minutes or so, it gets long-winded, and she slips in and out of accent.
Yeah.
But I still find her pretty charming.
Yeah. Namikaze Minato. How should WWE book Roman Reigns as a U.S. champion if he wins?
I hope he doesn't win.
I know.
I think. I like Rusev as U.S. champion, but you need to make Roman look good too.
Yeah.
But then I don't know what Roman does after that.
He could feud with Rusev for a while.
Yeah, he could.
I mean, if the wedding celebration last night is any indication, there's plenty to work with between these two guys.
I'm trying to think of a similar situation where you had a guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But if he wants us to book him as the U.S. champion, then we go to the same answer we always give: the U.S. Championship
Open Challenge.
Open Challenge.
David Hobbs, with Neville being in a tag team with Sin Cara, do you think he was the right one, or do you think Sammy should have been the right partner? I guess. Neville and Sami Zayn would have made a good tag team.
I think so, but I would rather see.
I'd rather see them in a feud against each other.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Ernest Gauker. How long until there is a loser leaves show match / feud? Starting to think Cesaro and Sheamus are in that type of feud.
How long until there is a loser leaves? Yeah, you know what? Ernest might have a point there.
Yeah.
Might have a point there. Daniel Bryan says you're underutilized here. Sheamus Cesaro, loser leaves town. Cesaro shows up, and you're not taking any talent away from SmackDown.
Correct.
You're just signing a guy who happens to be a free agent.
Correct.
Ernest, you might be onto something there, pal.
Ray Will 16. Do you think after Charlotte hitting Dana, could it happen next week in SummerSlam and Dana turns on her? Do you think Dana could turn on Charlotte next week at SummerSlam?
I mean, it's possible. And at this point, I'm not sure what sort of role she even has with Charlotte, because
I know
Charlotte's going to lose, and she may be
taking time off. I heard.
Would she? I don't know. She disputed that.
Oh, okay.
She went on Twitter and said all the reports are true. I'm here for a while.
Okay.
A Dana Brooke Charlotte feud could help Dana Brooke quite a bit. Give her some much needed experience.
Could be. Who knows?
Who knows?
Bree, if the New Day lose at SummerSlam, do you think it would be a good time for one of them to leave and be a singles wrestler? And Ryan Paul has a similar question. Book a New Day split. Pick one member to betray him like Seth Rollins and pick a winner for the New Day triple threat.
It'd be really hard for any of these guys to go heel.
I think the guy who has the best opportunity to go heel and make the most of it would be Xavier Woods.
Really?
Yeah. Because I think he's the best on the mic of the three of them.
He is the best on the mic for sure, and I think he's going to have the biggest singles career after this. You don't see Big E? Boy, they're all so lovable.
I know.
How do
They're all
any of
so
them
good.
How do any of them go heel? A split, I would have thought would happen more in a Wyatt type situation.
Yeah.
That was the only sort of scenario I could see.
I guess my worry too that if Big E were the one to turn heel, they would just kind of make him a little bland.
I know.
Whereas I think Xavier would be able to.
Kind of interesting though that you say that, because typically we're like, the heels have more fun, but these guys are so fun as babies.
I know. But I think also I'm worried that creative would treat Big E as just a monster heel and just go out and destroy everybody and kind of push aside his more, he's got charisma.
Yeah.
He's got a ton of charisma.
Yeah.
But they would just kind of make him one-dimensional.
Yeah. Xavier Woods as a heel would be really interesting, and I want to say weird. Especially with his up, down thing. Because I know that exists in a separate universe, and you have like Rusev playing video games on there, and Baron Corbin was on there playing video games. But at the same time, he's such the jovial host
I know.
that's he's got over 600,000 subs on that thing. It's blowing up.
It would be funny if he turned heel on his YouTube channel too.
That'd be pretty funny.
That'd be funny.
That'd be good. Hold on, these blue lights killing me. Continue.
Stroke of luck. If the club wins the tag titles, will they interfere to help Finn so the club will have all the gold? Not going to happen. If Finn's doing the demon thing, no club interference whatsoever.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if at SummerSlam they finally acknowledged, like in a very quick backstage segment.
Oh, they're past? Yeah.
That if they have all three of them in a backstage segment, it wouldn't surprise me if that's where we got that.
Yeah.
That's a pop moment.
Yeah. J. Pablo Hinosa. Do you think the WWE...
What a great name.
Do you think the WWE is a bit too loose on their physicality policy? People like Owen, Zayn, Nakamura, AJ Styles, and even Charlotte look a bit out of shape.
I don't know.
Can this affect wrestling's image capacity to grow? AJ Styles does not look out of shape.
I don't think AJ Styles looks out of shape. I don't think Charlotte looks out of shape at all. Nakamura looks exactly how he should look. Kevin Owens is unique. And Sami Zayn is unique. I don't think Sami Zayn doesn't need to be like cut all to hell because he's supposed to be a normal guy. I don't think so at all. I think I saw Damian Sandow, Aaron Stevens, is that his name now?
Yeah.
Somebody posted up on our Twitter at Real Going In Raw a video of him at a really indie event. It was like high school gymnasium. It was like SPW. And he already is starting to look soft.
Oh yeah.
Like he was never the most cut guy, but he's already looking a bit softer than normal.
Yeah.
And there's a different none of that. I don't think
as long as
it makes sense for their character.
Exactly. I mean, Kevin Owens is a brawler, the prize fighter, so he doesn't have to be ripped like Ryback to do that.
Yeah, I think I honestly think that that sentiment is a bit backwards. Like guys like Daniel Bryan who are shorter, guys like Kevin Owens who has the dad bod, if you want to call it. Sami Zayn, AJ Styles looks great.
Yeah.
Nakamura, he's not a cut guy, but his look fits his character, his fighting style. I think that helps the WWE's capacity to grow.
Yeah.
Because now you're not looking for guys who all look the exact same, who look like Ryback.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Which was kind of the problem back in the
right.
early 90s, mid 90s.
Yeah. So I think them allowing wrestlers to sort of look the way their character should look will help them grow.
Yeah. Adam Cowley. Who would win in a battle royal between all the kings of the ring in their prime? Stone Cold's the obvious answer.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Yeah. Scorpion. Do you think with the Cruiserweight division being on Raw, they will bring back the Cruiserweight title? Who should be the champion? I think it's a given they're going to have a Cruiserweight title.
Yes, but also who's going to be champion? I think the jury will be out on that until we find out what they're going to classify as the cruiser. Like, are they? I think they're probably going to bring in 6 guys or 7 guys
from the tournament, right?
From the tournament, and that'll be its own separate thing, as opposed to what we've said before. Guys like Neville could be in the cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
I don't really want that. That should be separate, I think.
Carlos Hackworth. Is it possible for SmackDown's Bullet Club to be made only with TNA talent to shoot on TNA? I don't know who else would be in it then.
I mean, you'd have to just decimate NXT
pretty much
for that to happen. No, I don't think nobody needs to shoot on TNA. TNA's doing their thing.
Rich Udding. Jericho having his best run for years. Do you think there's any chance of him getting another title run? He seems pretty content putting people over.
I think they do a really good job of balancing Jericho out as the guy who wins. He beat AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Yeah. And I think they're doing a really, really good job of having him be a strong guy who selectively and strategically gets young guys over.
Yeah.
In a manner like Enzo and Cass, like how he's doing now. Also with Owens teaming with a younger guy, which helps get Owens over even more.
Yeah.
People cheer Owens, dude.
Oh, I know.
People cheer him.
I mean, even his program with AJ, it was, AJ's first singles feud. Did wonders to get him over.
Yeah.
Get him to introduce him to the WWE crowds.
Yeah.
The 21-time European champion.
No, like he's still at 13 in my eyes, in my heart. 13.
So when Roman wins the U.S. title at SummerSlam, do you think he should
Not going to
bring
happen, so
back
this isn't a question.
the U.S. Open Challenge? Yes,
So he's still the 20 time.
No, 21. We do. El Goldo.
Yes.
What do you think about crossover brands during dark matches? For example, Cena versus AJ happened, I guess, during a commercial break.
Oh, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it rewards the crowd for showing up.
Exactly. Mr. Statist X, do you feel that Braun Strowman should finally fight a real fight? For 2 times is okay, but more is ridiculous.
I don't see anything unreal about these fights that he's been having. These are very real fights.
This should be at least 4 months of him fighting local enhancement talent.
His first real fight, in your definition, not mine, should be a WrestleMania.
Yeah. For the belt, right? For one of the belts.
Time. Yeah, exactly, for all the belts.
For all the belts. Dylan Yeager. If you got the chance to draft Raw with 1 star from each era, the Golden Era, Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression, PG and New, and 1 who never made it to WWE to be your top 6 guys, who would you choose? So 1 guy from each of the eras, draft to Raw, but also 1 guy each who never made it to WWE.
Hold on. Golden, Attitude, Ruthless, PG. We need reality. Because I want
I think that's what we mean by new. Oh, reality, yeah.
New era is now. Reality is after
1, 2,
PG.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. So we got Golden from the Golden Era. Luthez.
I think he means like the 80s.
We'll skip the 80s. Golden.
Golden's
back. So we need like 7.
Golden encompasses everything from the birth of pro wrestling till 1997.
No. Golden, rock and wrestling.
Okay.
Attitude, Ruthless, PG, Reality, and New.
Okay.
7.
Okay, so Golden Era.
Luthez.
Yeah, of course.
Has to be Luthez.
Rock and wrestling. Macho Man.
I'll agree with that.
Attitude.
Stone Cold.
Yeah. Ruthless Aggression. Kurt Angle.
Yes, definitely Kurt Angle.
The PG Era.
It's got to be John Cena.
Yeah, I guess
You're building a good roster. Put John Cena on there.
Reality Era.
CM Punk.
Yeah.
Of course.
New Era. Seth Rollins. Okay. That's our thing. Ronan Leonard. What are your predictions?
Oh, 1 guy who never made it to the WWE.
Oh, sorry.
1 guy who never made it to the WWE. Christopher Daniels.
I was going to say Magnum TA.
Oh, Magnum TA. There you go.
Ronan Leonard. What are your predictions for the final SummerSlam card and the winners of those matches?
We'll give you those next week. We need the whole.
Yeah, after Raw and SmackDown next week.
Exactly. Yeah.
We've got some video questions. Would you like to answer them?
Yes.
First one.
Yes.
Kid Corbin. Patrick Sparks.
Hey friendos, Pat here. I was recently listening to a Sam Roberts interview with Dolph Ziggler, and apparently Dolph has a pure hatred for John Cena, and that's why he loves working with him though, because he just wants to be better than him at everything, but he really hates him, like a lot. Do you think there's any other weird duos in the business that have the weird chemistry like that? If so, who do you think and why?
Thanks, Patrick. I know. It's hard to say because I don't know.
Apparently, Dean Ambrose is not a fan of Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Apparently, everybody is not a fan of Simon Gotch, including soda cans. Simon Gotch got hit with a soda can.
That's so funny.
By Sin Cara, who evidently has really good aim. Because it would have really fucked him up if he was close. So you got to think he was like down at the end of the catering table and Gotch was on the other end. And he wound up. You think it was a spiral or a flipping over thing? Probably a flipping over thing.
If you throw it, it's going to be like that.
Flipping over it,
Yeah, I don't think, because like
hard to throw a spiral
with a soda can because it doesn't have the tips at the end.
Right.
It's not aerodynamic enough. Another question from Aaron Griffiths.
Wouldn't it be great if Sin Cara waited till... I wish there was video of this. If Sin Cara waited until like Gotch was down there eating some spinach salad. He's eating and all of a sudden, dunk. Ah! That'd be great.
I thought of another wrestlers with beefs. CM Punk is not a fan of Ryback.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
This will segue into our next question from Aaron Griffiths.
Aaron, let's see what you have to say.
G'day, Steve, Larson. Bit of a serious question for you here. I know we like to rag on CM Punk a lot, but how much different would the WWE really be with him still in the company? Conceivably, title runs like Daniel Bryan's and maybe even Brock Lesnar's wouldn't have happened, particularly during the era when, bloody Cena and Orton were both gone. Would have been a mighty big personality to have in that period. Might have also helped get Roman Reigns over a bit better. Anyway, boys, love the work. Keep it up.
Thank you, Aaron. You guys can ask your questions on Patreon, patreon.com/Steven Larson. For $20 a month, you can get your ugly mugs up here next to our ugly mugs. Aaron had a question about CM Punk. CM Punk, if you were still around, gee willikers. I don't know.
Well, let's think about it, because apparently the original plans for WrestleMania 30 were supposed to be Daniel Bryan, allegedly this is, Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus, Triple H versus CM Punk, Randy Orton versus Batista for the titles.
Boy, that would have been lame. Because we got a classic WrestleMania.
So if CM Punk hadn't walked, do you think there's any chance Daniel Bryan would have got a shot? Because that was one of the things that CM Punk was upset about.
Yeah. Daniel Bryan totally got that CM Punk spot. Okay, if CM Punk hadn't walked, let's say CM Punk got his way. Let's say he main evented WrestleMania.
30?
Yeah.
So he got the spot that Daniel Bryan eventually got. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. What if that whole scenario changed so that CM Punk was literally in that spot, and then he ended up in a three-way, and then he ended up winning? I don't know, but I'm apt to say, because what they should have done, I thought they had a good thing going with CM Punk as the champion, and then they had sort of above the belt matches, you know, John Cena versus The Rock. Then you can put Brock Lesnar in there against people that are sort of above the title.
Yeah, like the Lesnar Triple H feud.
Exactly. But CM Punk was the guy that was sort of the top of the storylines in the company. I think the bottom line is this. We would have had, I could see CM Punk being the guy to put over Seth Rollins. To me, that would have been the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Is that CM Punk would have been a great program. It would have been really good. Exactly. I think it's hard to say. It's hard to like go back and rebook everything. But I think that's the biggest thing we probably missed out on is CM Punk putting over Seth Rollins for the belt.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Because
sure.
I've got myself a list for Kayfabe Corner. What is Kayfabe Corner exactly?
It is only the greatest pro wrestling trivia challenge of all.
I think it is, too.
12 names, 6 real, 6 fake, usually.
Yeah.
2 trivia questions.
All right. Let's see here. I'm looking for my shit right now.
Did you send it to me on accident?
Probably.
Here, let me check my email.
No, don't change it. All right, here we go. Okay, I got it. All right. Okay, so this week, for $10 at patreon.com/Steven Larson, you guys can vote on Kayfabe Corner, the theme. We offer up 2 wrestlers for Kayfabe Corner. One, no, not one real, one fake. You guys get to vote. This week, because part of Steve Austin's line of questioning for Dean Ambrose was... a lot of people compared it to Terry Funk. Were you a big Terry Funk guy? And Dean Ambrose said, yeah, I really like Terry Funk. But really, he liked the old, really great answer. He liked the old NWA champions who would come in and own the ring and just know that they were the shit. That was kind of his thing. And so I did Terry Funk versus Dean Ambrose.
Okay.
We might have brought these guys up before. I'm pretty sure I did Ambrose before.
Yeah.
Or actually offered him up as a suggestion. But in any event, these are brand new names. So yeah, I'm like eventually.
Who won?
Eventually, Terry Funk.
Okay.
Terry Funk, I think. I hope, because that's what I did. Terry Funk. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. All right. Aren't you going to ask me how confident I am in this list?
No.
No?
Nope.
Are you confident?
Yeah.
Are you Roman Reigns now or Roman Reigns a month ago?
I'm pretty comfortable. I'm pretty loose.
You're Roman Reigns as of now.
Feeling pretty good.
Okay, that's good.
Let's see if that translates into a good score.
Victory, okay. Number 1.
Number 1.
Danny Plechas.
Real.
Very good. Number 2, Cal Farley.
Real.
Fake. Number 3, Cecil Outlaw.
Fake.
Very good. Siegfried Stank.
Can you spell stank for me, please?
Yeah, this might be Stanky. Stanke.
Oh, then real.
Okay. Yes. Dizzy Shire.
Fake.
Yeah, but that's a good name, isn't it?
It is a good name.
The Great Bolo.
Real.
Very good. Hank James.
Fake.
Real. JJ Barr.
Real.
Fake. Clubfoot Inferno. Am I that ridiculous, or is that a real name, Larson?
Real.
Very good. And I'm very happy about that, too, that there's a guy out there named Clubfoot Inferno.
That's pretty funny.
Bob Giegel.
Can you spell the last name, please?
Giegel.
Real.
Very good. What are you at, 7?
Yeah.
Especialista 3.
Real.
Fake. There's only 2 Especialistas.
It's good then.
Yeah. Don Culbertson.
Real.
Fake.
Oh. I see like a lot of fakes.
Hold on a second. No, 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I started out with real, fake, fake, so I front-loaded fake, so it felt like there was... Wait, a lot? Did you say a lot or a little?
A lot.
Whatever. Trivia question time.
Okay, I got 7 so far.
You might know these. I softball you on these trivia questions, man. Who did Funk beat to begin his 14-month reign as NWA World Champ?
I feel like I should know that. Harley Race.
No, but he's who he gave up the title to after that 14 months.
Was it Dory Funk Jr. or Dory Funk Sr.?
Jack Briscoe.
Oh, okay.
He's the other guy. Because there's only like 5 names.
Yeah,
Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race.
I know.
Another Funk. And who did he wrestle against in his latest retirement match last year?
The one I know about is Tommy Dreamer, so I'll say that.
Jerry Lawler, who should not be in a ring.
Wow.
It ended in DQ. Hopefully not when Lawler died again.
Wow.
My
All right, so
goodness
7.
gracious, shouldn't be. Yeah, 7.
I think I'm up 3 on the year.
You're up 3, but don't I have a
No,
thing left?
no, we're even.
We're even. You're up
Yeah,
3.
yeah.
You had a really good week that one time.
Yeah, I got a
really.
9 or whatever.
Yeah. No good. I'll have to bring it next week. So are you going to kick off?
No, you should kick it off.
Oh,
'cause
so
you have,
next week we'll start Barry Windham.
Yeah, because you have your list done, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to
I'll kick it off, though. It's
Yeah,
my
if you're-
kickoff thing.
You create it. I'm
I'll
sure
kick it
you've
off.
done some research as I'm looking into Barry Windham. So if I did it,
Yeah.
then you'd have the upper hand.
Right. I have done no research, but because I do everything at the very last minute.
But anyways,
but
you
I
can
will
start
kick it off.
You can
Okay,
start it.
so next week.
Next week we'll do it.
Exactly. Anyways.
That's it.
That's it for the show. We want to thank everybody. Go ahead and hit that subscribe and download button. We want to remind you to do that. Leave a rating, leave a review if you're listening to the audio podcast. And yeah, check us out at youtube.com/Steve Larson. We have all sorts of great content there, including this past weekend, we were doing some salacious subjects. We got top 5 wrestlers who screwed over the WWE.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? 5
Sex scandals.
sex scandals in pro wrestling. So check those out at youtube.com/Steve and Lars. We got all sorts of big announcements coming up, but we can't really spill any of the beans on any of them now.
Yeah.
So yeah, stay tuned for that. We want to thank you guys. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.